You will probably be laughed at. I was laughed at to my face by a sergeant first class across the table from my battalion commander, my company commander, and my senior chain of command for my state. Don't let that discourage you. What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. If you want to fly helicopters for the Army National Guard, or if you're just interested in this in general, I'm going to help you do that. So this is how I did it. First thing I did was contact everybody that I knew that was a rated aviator and ask them questions about flight school, about helicopters, about airplanes, anything that I could get out of them. You probably will maybe annoy some people, but that's okay. Everybody that flies is in the position that they're in because somebody else helped them get there. And essentially that's why I'm kind of making this too. I would have liked a guide to help me get along my way when I was first starting out. So talk to everybody you know, watch videos, do your general research first. Next thing to do, figure out what you want to fly and where it flies out of. National Guard bases throughout the states fly different aircraft. So you might have 3 bases in your state, and 2 of those bases might fly Blackhawks, and then the one other base might fly Apaches. So figure out what you want to fly and who flies that aircraft. So that way you know what unit that you want to go to. Once you figure those 2 things out, go to your recruiter, say, hey, I want to fly helicopters and I want you to help me do that. And he's going to say, okay. And then you got to figure out if you want to be a warrant officer or traditional officer. I wanted to be a warrant officer originally. I was not able to because my state canceled the street to seat program. They refused to send anybody else to street to seat because the attrition rate was so high. So people were going street to seat in my state, and then they were getting out prematurely because they were going to the airlines. So they were like, no more of that. So traditional officer route is what I took. Involving the traditional officer route, you have to, and warrant officer as well, but everybody, you have to pass your PT test. You have to have a SIF score. I got a 69. You have to make at least a 40. Max is 80. And you can take it 2 times if you fail the first time. Whatever score you end up with that is a passing score will be the score that you keep for the rest of your aviation career. It does not matter past flight school, but up until flight school, it will matter. You need to be eligible for a secret clearance. If you already have one, box already checked. You have to take your ASVAB, GT score of 110 or higher. It's not that hard. You just need to study. Study and try, and you will be fine. If I can pass it, you can pass it. And you'll hear that a bunch, but it is 100% true. I promise you can do it. Class 1 physical. I did not have a Class 1 physical before going to flight school, which is not supposed to happen, but it did happen. So I can't really give you too much on that. They just didn't do it for me before I went. I got one down there, and I found out down there I was eligible for a Class 1 physical. That was a very sweaty day because my aviation career could have been over the first couple weeks of flight school, but it wasn't. So we were blessed by the good graces, the good Lord. So anyways, make sure your physical is good. Get your letters of recommendation. Have as many as you can is what I would recommend. If they don't want 15 of them in there, they'll take them out. But put as many letters of recommendation that you have, at least 2 from an Army captain or above. Moving on. You go to MEPS. I went to MEPS twice. First time I went, they said, hey, you're a prior service Marine and your intestines came out of your stomach. And I said, yes, they did. And they said, okay, well, go to the doctor in your local area and have them sign off a paper saying that you're fit for duty. So I said, okay. I had a inguinal hernia in Advanced Infantry Course, AIC, and that's pretty much what it was. My intestines came out of my stomach. I had to push them back in with my 2 fingers, and then I had to ace bandage my stomach until I finished the course. And then once I got done with that course, I had surgery. So had to do that all, wrap that all up. Anyways, next time I went to, or the last time, second time I went to MEPS, I got my security clearance and I signed my contract. That contract was for 3 years. That contract was solely for me to go to OCS. Once I signed that contract and I got my security clearance, I got back in the car with my recruiter, and he was like, welcome to the Army National Guard. And I said, thank you. And then that's it. So that was really the last time I saw him. He took me back to my truck. He went back to his recruiting office. I went home. The next month, I reported to OCS for like a holding tank situation. So I did not have to go to basic because I went to Marine Corps boot camp. Marines don't have to go to other branches boot camps. So if you're a prior service Marine as well, you won't have to go to basic. I would recommend going to basic even if they tell you you don't have to, because it is good to learn the Army culture. All your soldiers and all your peers will have gone to basic. So it's just nice to go. I think it would have been nice for me to go to get that experience and to get just ingrained in the Army culture, because I was very Marine ingrained, and I still kind of am, honestly. I try not to be, but the brainwashing runs deep. So after I sign my contract, I go to the OCS holding tank. I'm in the holding tank. So that's pretty much just a platoon that prepares you to go to OCS. OCS is a game. It is a hoop in this process, and they just teach you how to play the game. You learn how to drink the Kool-Aid. You get your tolerance up, you know? So anyways, you go to holding tank and you practice OCS things. I attended accelerated OCS for 8 weeks, no days off, 70% failure rate. I did a video on that, and it was not fun. The other options you have is you can go to traditional OCS for 12 weeks or state OCS for 16 to 18 months. Would not do that. You do what you want, but that's a long time for me. I didn't have 2 years to mess around with OCS, so I need to get in there and get out. Also, side note, aviation, you have to be 32 before you board for flight school, or the day before you start flight school or something. That could have changed. I have heard of people having age waivers up to like 42. So just because you're a little older, don't let that stop you. There's a lot of things that people will tell you, you can't do that because of this, and then you just need to go find the answer. So anyway, continuing, I went to accelerated OCS. It was terrible. As soon as I got done with accelerated OCS, I came back to my home unit. Like I said before, I had already figured out I want to fly Blackhawks. I want to fly Blackhawks at this unit, and that's who I signed on with. So once I graduated OCS, you have a branch day where everybody picks their branch. If you don't branch aviation, or if you don't already have an aviation branch assigned to you, you will have to pick a different branch than aviation. That's okay. Go to an aviation unit. That's what I did. I was a chemical officer. A fake chemical officer, more or less. I never went to Bullock for chemical. Anyways, I found the base that flew the helicopters that I wanted, and I was like, okay, I want to go there. And to this unit, this specific unit that flies helicopters. And they were like, okay. So I went there as a chemical officer. I showed up, and the first day, I shook everybody's hand, and I said, hello, my name is Lieutenant so-and-so, and I want to fly Blackhawks. And they were like, oh my God, how come you're a chemical officer? And I was like, because I had to be in order to come here to fly helicopters with you guys. And they were like, oh, we have another one, because I was the third or fourth one in a row that had came to that unit specifically to go to flight school. So anyways, I told everybody first day, I want to be a pilot. I want to be a big boy. I want to fly the helicopters. And they were like, cool, now we know exactly what this dude's chasing. Went to my home unit, and I started working with those guys. I did an AT with them. I did some ranges with them. I did some convoys with them, and I was just in it to win it, trying my best, trying to show everybody I can be me, and I'm here, and I'm ready to be a pilot. Anyways, I went to a flight board. The flight boards happen once every 3 months, 6 months, or once a year, just depending. They also happen in different states. So if your state doesn't have one, or if you want to be in a different state than you're in, you can go to a different state's flight board. Anyways, I waited until my state's flight board came around, and I said, hey guys, I want to be a pilot. This is my packet. I've done all these things. I'm ready to go. I have my SIF score. I have my PT test. I have all my letters of recommendation. My flight board packet is complete. I want to go be an aviator. And they were like, cool. Go then, get out of here, dude, you're way too motivated. And I was like, okay, sounds good to me. So once you board, now you go to flight school. You made it. Some things to keep in mind though. I'm trying to keep this video short. It's taken me so many times to film this because it ends up being 25 minutes. So I will give you some insider knowledge. You will probably be laughed at. I was laughed at to my face by a sergeant first class across the table from my battalion commander, my company commander, and my senior chain of command for my state. Don't let that discourage you. People will judge you, and they will say, this dude is too dumb to be a pilot, or this dude is X, Y, and Z. I don't know. I don't. Why did he laugh at me? I have no idea. I think he was trying to portray that a lot of people don't get into flight school, which is fine. Just say that. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't forgot that, man. I got laughed at straight to my face by a sergeant first class, which I don't know. It is what it is. I'm a pilot now, and he's not, so whatever. But yeah, multiple people will tell you it's impossible. People will tell you, oh, you're too old. Well, guess what? There's a waiver for that. People will tell you, your eyes are bad. Guess what? I had PRK. My eyes are good. I had to pay $4,500 for these eyeballs, but they work great, and I fly helicopters with them. So, yeah, people will tell you just crazy stuff. That somebody told me, like, oh, you can't be a pilot because you have flat feet. I was like, cool. I did 2 deployments with flat feet. I got in 2011 to 2015 with flat feet. I got out, went to college with flat feet. I got back in the military with flat feet. Dog, you think that's going to stop me? Dog, what? Like, what are you talking about? It's just people repeat craziness that they hear that they have no idea what they're talking about. So don't let people discourage you, is what I'm trying to say. People will drag their feet with their paperwork, with your paperwork. When I was in that holding cell for OCS, I had a buddy that was a lieutenant call up there that I went to high school with. Call up there and be like, hey, how come this dude's not in OCS? And they were like, oh, we're sending him soon. And then the next week I had OCS, I had OCS papers saying, or orders, that's what I'm trying to say, geez. So use your connections, use the people that you know. People are our biggest resource. You can listen to me all day on here, and I'm trying to keep this short, man. I'm trying. But you can listen to this video 100 times, which I hope you do because I don't get views. But you listen to this 100 times, and you're going to get X amount out of it. But if me and you were sitting across the table from each other eating dinner and we were talking about this, you would get a lot more out of it, I promise you. Because one, I'm like, right now I'm like at 70% of my personality, right? But I can't be the 100% because we're on camera. And also I have a job. So go talk to people is what I'm trying to tell you, okay? We're getting off. We're already at 12 minutes. So, okay, so yeah, tell everyone that you want to go to flight school. So, tell everybody that you see at your unit that you want to go to flight school. And just brief it into existence. Brief everybody. I will be an aviator. I will be a pilot. I'm going to flight school. This is what I'm doing. This is how I'm doing it. Maybe not that aggressive, but subliminally. And never take no for an answer. I already went over that. Never take no for an answer, man. You can do it. I did it. You can do it. I did it. You can do it. Just tell yourself that. Look at me, dude. Look at me. I'm making YouTube videos, and I'm struggling to talk about stuff that I wrote down ahead of time. And this is like my 30th time making this video. So, I mean, you do you, man. If you need any help, comment on the video, man, and I'll tell you something. My Instagram's on there. Message me Instagram. I gotta go. It's already 13 minutes. I gotta go, guys. Yep, good one. Thank you for watching. Appreciate you. Bye.